Hi there, my name is Jeff, and welcome to the Concentric Rhythm tutorial. To get started, let's hit the play button. The first thing we'll want to do is select a track, or select a pattern. So we do that by touching on the gray circle. Now our pattern is selected, and you can see the pattern properties at the top of the display there. The color of the pattern properties will match the color of the pattern all of the time. Now if we want to change the sound, we can go on the left side where it says voice. We have right now it's set to percussion rim shot. You can choose a different percussion sample here, for example, dry click. Or if we want to use a melodic voice instead of a percussion sample, we change from percussion to instrument. And now when we go to this menu, we have lots of instruments. So let's choose electric jazz guitar. If we want to change the pitch, we look at the right side of the display here. Using default note is on, and the default note right now is C4. We can change that default note by rolling up or down, right? And because using default note is on, it will change all of the notes in that pattern. If we want to change notes individually, one way we can do that is going to the focus mode over here. In focus mode, we can select individual notes and change their pitches individually. We can also toggle notes on and off like this. Right? And if we want to make a melody instantly, a really easy way to do that is to apply a random walk to generate the melody. And that's the first transformation I'm going to show you. The transformations are here under this second button from the right side where you can see lots of different transformations that we could apply to our pattern. And for each of these transformations, there is an I button beside it. If you click on that I button, you can see a brief description of what that transformation does. Now in the case of a random walk, what we'll do is the first note is going to be our default note. The second note is going to be either one step below or one step above that first note. Third note is going to be one step below or one step above the second note, and so on. So let's apply that random walk. Right? And it's just a really quick, easy way to generate a melody. Okay, now let's copy that track. Because it's selected, when we hit the duplicate button, it'll copy that track. And now we have two different tracks. Let's set the second one here to a different voice. And of course we can select which track we want to work on by touching those gray rings. We can rotate each of these tracks individually. So if a track is selected, we just drag it clockwise or counterclockwise. Right? And let's apply some transformations to that new track. So another transformation here under melodic transformation is Invert Melody. If we invert the melody, we're just taking each note and saying if it's, for example, one step above the default note, let's put it one step below the default note. Apply that. All right. Now let's go back to our first track again, and let's duplicate that. And this time we'll set the voice to electric muted guitar, and we'll apply some other transformations to this one. So under general transformation, the first one is repeat. We're just going to repeat its pattern twice within that same time span, like this. Okay. Another transformation we could apply here is reflection. So if I go to tiled mode, you can see each pattern individually, and we're going to choose reflection. It's going to show me all the different axes I could use to reflect this pattern. And let's choose the center axis. So we're going to flip it along that center axis, like this. Right, and we get some interesting sounds there. Okay, there's a couple other ways we can add tracks. So the plus button here, we can choose what kind of meter we want to add. So if we want to do something interestingly polyrhythmic, say we'll choose a 12-beat pattern to put over top of this. We also have the Surprise Me button, and what the Surprise Me button does is it chooses one of the patterns from your project and uses that pattern as a template, develops it into something else by applying 2 or 3 of the transformations. There's a certain element of randomness involved, so sometimes what it creates is really interesting and sometimes not so much. So I'll try that. Right, and try it a few more times. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing, a really interesting way to generate rhythms, and that's by using the Euclidean algorithm. So the Euclidean algorithm basically says, let's take a pattern, and I'll make a new one here. There's actually 16 slots where we could put notes in our 8-beat pattern, and we're going to choose how many of those we want to fill with notes. So if I go to over here, new pattern with Euclidean rhythm, it's going to ask me how many onsets I want. So let's use, for example, 9 onsets. So it's going to fill 9 of those 16 slots with notes, and it's going to try to put as much space between each of those notes as possible. And this is just a really interesting way to generate natural rhythms. Right. Let's change that sound to, and we could, for example, copy that, maybe change that into a melodic voice, maybe apply a random walk, and of course we can play with the rotation and so on. Okay, so I hope that's enough to get you started. Of course, I'd love to hear feedback if you have any suggestions on how to make the app better or other features that you'd like to see. I hope you can get in touch. There's lots and lots of other features here that I haven't gone into, so please explore, especially the transformations. There's about 20 of them, and there's a lot that you can do. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and enjoy Concentric Rhythm.